For the championship of the 1985 Big Apple National Invitation Tournament. And here are the starting lineups. For the Jayhawks of the University of Kansas, at the forwards, number 25, Danny Manning. Number 44, Ron Kellogg. At center, number 30, Greg Dreiling. And at the guards, number 22, Cedric Hunter. And number 35, Calvin Thompson. And here's the coach of the Jayhawks, Larry Brown. For the Blue Devils of Duke University. At the forwards, number 12, David Henderson. Number 32, Mike Allery. At center, number 35, Danny Ferry. And at the guards, number 4, Tommy Amaker. And number 24, Johnny Dawkins. And the coach of the Blue Devils, Mike Krzyzewski. The officials, Jody Sylvester, Jim Burr, and Gene Monty.
The opening tap for the inaugural Big Apple Classic. Mike Krzyzewski, the 38-year-old head coach of the Blue Devils of Duke. His record at Duke, and this is 5th year. Prior to that, he served at West Point. And, of course, the much-traveled Larry Brown.
Little warm welcome for Larry. Some Net fans in the audience, but as we look at the officials, Larry's won every place he's been.
Jody Sylvester, Jim Burr, and Gene Monty, the officials for tonight's Big Apple Classic Final. The first, I think, of many Big Apples to come. It's Allery of Duke wins the draw. Henderson, Amaker, Dawkins, Ferry, and Allery, the starting 5 for the Blue Devils. Is Dawkins, the star of Friday night. Henderson going skyward for the rebound.
Two pretty good man-to-man teams.
Kellogg, Thompson, Manning, Hunter, and Dreiling for Kansas. Amaker with the running one-hander, doesn't get the roll, and the rebound to Kansas. Cedric Hunter intercepted pass of Hunter's by Allery. And right back up the floor, and a good interception by Cedric Hunter to prevent the fast break.
Now, Mark Allery did a great job spotting the basketball. Full sprint, able to look back.
Ron Kellogg, number 44 for Kansas, the All-America candidate. Got a quick look at Pete Gaudette, assistant coach of Duke. Been with Krzyzewski for about 9 of the 10 years he's been a head coach. Foul is going to be on Allery, away from the play, as he fouls Ron Kellogg.
Of course, Mike Krzyzewski quiet. Allery can't afford many fouls without Jay Bilas. They're not as deep. They can't rotate. They can't play bigger. So it's a problem for him. What you might look for with Duke now is in their man-to-man, they're going to try and stop Greg Dreiling from reversing the ball. Larry Brown's club kicks it from one side of the floor to the other very well.
This is Cedric Hunter being shadowed by Amaker. Behind the screen, Thompson. He had 25 on Friday against Louisville, and he's off to a quick start tonight. Jayhawks take the lead. As you look at David Henderson, what a pretty drive by Henderson. Does not get it to go. Allery with the save, but the interception by Hunter. A 3-on-1 fast break for Kansas. He goes right, and the lay-in by Ron Kellogg.
You know, it doesn't show in the box score, but Calvin Thompson filled the third lane, really created the pass, put the pressure on Tommy Amaker.
Kansas off to a 4-0 lead. Very long range. Doesn't get it to go, but Henderson right there again. He gets fouled this time, I believe, by Dreiling. Greg Dreiling, the man in the middle. Mike Krzyzewski, although down 4-0, will have his man at the free throw line.
I would imagine Danny Ferry relaxed yesterday, knew he had another opportunity tonight. I look for him to have a good basketball game. He struggled the other night, as any freshman would.
Well, when you come into this building, I think that's part of it. It's got to be a little nerve-wracking to walk into Madison Square Garden for your first appearance, particularly as a freshman, and not to have a little bit of the goosebumps.
Well, it's not the size of the game. It's just that the game happens to be here, I think.
That's it. Henderson cans them both. That's a 4-2 game.
Duke will man-to-man and try and make Kansas start their offense out further. Lets their big people defensively get in better position.
Here's Cedric Hunter. He's the catalyst on the offense. Works it around to Calvin Thompson, 35, guarded by Henderson.
Manning in the low post.
Oh, Manning gets away, and the nice dish. Good defensive play, though, by Ferry. Yeah, he's going to give the foul, but if he doesn't, it's 2 points.
Greg Dreiling should take the Manning family on vacation because Danny Manning finds him. I don't know the rule, but I'm sure Larry Brown says to Greg Dreiling, when Manning gets the basketball in the 3-second area, get to the hole and keep your hands up.
Manning is what we call the locator file.
I mentioned Friday, he's a point center. Of course, they took advantage. Pretty good recognition by Kansas with that mismatch down low.
Second team AP All-America, Greg Dreiling. And there's a lot of Greg Dreiling out there. 7'1", 250-pound senior from Wichita. He had a rather vociferous slam dunker Friday night against Louisville, and we showed at the top of the show.
Well, he seems to know how to take advantage of his abilities. He doesn't do things he can't handle.
Amaker. And the interception by the Jayhawks. Good play by Tommy Amaker. He held his ground, took the charge, knew he was going to get hit, and it worked out.
I'll tell you, Cedric Hunter is going to remember Tommy Amaker because he rags a man, he reads things very well, and here the pass really the problem. Manning should not have given the ball up. He has to read ahead so that the charge does not occur.
Henderson was the logical man to take the pass. Here's Dawkins with the behind-the-back dribble, has it taken away. It's a foot race. Hunter with the reverse on Allery. It doesn't go, but it's still KU ball in the paint. Thompson, the basketball steps out. Too many steps on Calvin Thompson.
I'll tell you what, Calvin Thompson made a great move. Jody Sylvester wants to get on the scoreboard. I agree with Larry on that one. Good, strong power move to the goal.
I think he hit it right on the nose. Wants to get on television.
Jody's on a few times a year. Slow down.
Allery, short. Dreiling rebound. The quick pass to Hunter.
Good balance by Duke.
Here's Calvin Thompson, hounded by Henderson.
A lot of motion by Kansas. Passing game. Larry ran this in the NBA as well. Good post
side. Dreiling, it goes and a foul.
This is gorgeous post offense by Greg Dreiling. He took one passing lane, it was taken away from him. Reversed on the man, and this is something they've been trying to stop. Duke would like to not let the ball be kicked from side to side. They don't want that ball. Kansas reverses very. Now Dreiling with great footwork. Watch the spin and curl, locks his man, moves to the goal. Good looking pass.
And the foul on Mark Allery. Dreiling to the line. Billy King has just come into the ball game for Duke, and Allery goes to the bench. Dreiling does not make the three-point play, and it is the mentioned Billy King with the rebound. So it's an 8-2 Kansas lead. Dreiling with half of the Jayhawk points. Boy, what tradition Kansas has had since the days of Paul Gallen.
Good non-call, too. Manning did that like a senior, huh?
Here's Dawkins in the right corner, guarded by Cedric Hunter. King finding Ferry, wants to put the move on. Amaker with the fake. Good idea by Ferry, keeping the ball moving. A lot of good movement on both sides of the floor.
Both run similar sets. A lot of motion, a lot of screening away. Kansas, however, does back screen off the basketball.
Henderson to trigger the inbound. Henderson with the baseline jumper. Henderson has all 4 of Duke's points.
Kansas zoning the out-of-bounds paid for it. Kick right back to the inbounder.
Thompson inside on the turnaround to Manning. Danny Manning, the sophomore from Lawrence.
And Billy King on him, the best defensive man on Duke. He can play in and out. Danny Manning.
Ferry. Right back to Ferry. Moves in closer and cans it.
All right, Danny, on the board. Pretty good confidence, though, huh? Empty, still looking for it.
He's playing out a little further than I expected him to.
Well, he's going to drag the big man out, trailing.
Backdoor play to Manning and a jam.
They
Pretty
do that
pass.
beautifully. Empty to back, show. Sturgeon does it as well. Also, Turgeon, excuse me. We'll see a little bit later, but Cedric Hunter, nice looking delivery.
Alvin Thompson with 4 points thus far.
A little out of control. They got a push off. See, Johnny Dawkins will extend that arm as he lost control.
So it is the Jayhawks out to the quick lead. They lead by a half dozen with 15:23 to play first half. First half, Kansas leading Duke 12-6. First ever meeting for these two schools, Duke and Kansas. Started talking about the Kansas tradition. Fog Allen, what a great career as a head coach he had at Kansas. They even named the indoor arena after a great gentleman. I believe it was Dr. Naismith that first started shooting hoops at Kansas.
He sure did. And, of course, one of his players was Adolph Rupp. How about Ralph Miller and Dean Smith also playing there?
Oh, not
Pretty
bad.
fair incubation period.
Wilt the Stilt had a few good games for Kansas as well.
Little zone now, 2-3 by Duke. Different show after the timeout.
Dreiling. And the outlet to Calvin Thompson. Boy, is he hot.
Oh, strong player, too.
Calvin Thompson, 3 field goals for 6. He's 3 for 3 from the outside. Inside shuffle to Henderson with the trees, and he makes the basket anyway.
Nice pass, too, by Furry. Both clubs really like to pound it in deep. Settle outside.
Henderson has 6 of Duke's 8 points. 14-8, Jayhawks in front. Manning on the turnaround. And King with the rebound, the quick outlet to Johnny Dawkins. Wants it all by himself. Pretty move by Johnny Dawkins.
He can use the glass well. You know, a lot of coaches will switch defenses. Duke with the 2-3. If it's effective, fine. If it's not, they'll chart maybe what Kansas likes to do against the zone. Use it in the second half.
A 4-point Kansas lead. Inside it goes to Manning. He's going to get called for the offensive foul. I don't know. I kind of agree with you on that one. I kind of agree with you on that one. Ferry took a little bit more of a Shakespeare route than maybe it warranted.
Good smart player will do that defensively, but gee, they're big kids. Let them go. Good turnaround move. Not much contact here. Ferry doing the right thing. Pretty good square up.
Daddy Bob probably taught him that move every time in the backyard by the garage.
I'm sure if his father hit him, he would be on the ground.
Might be in the ground. Inside pass to King. Dawkins comes up with the loose ball alertly, and a foul's going to be called on Greg Dreiling.
Well, I'll tell you, coaches love to see people who can pass the ball to the post. Danny Ferry twice now able to deliver it to his man in the 3-second lane.
The 5th-ranked Jayhawks of Kansas, the 6th-ranked Blue Devils of Duke. We get a substitution coming into the game. Chris Piper, sophomore from Lawrence, Kansas, replacing Greg Dreiling. Dreiling goes to the bench with 2 personal fouls. Last thing Larry Brown needs is to have Dreiling in foul trouble.
They don't have a lot of size, you're right.
Dawkins to the line for 2 shots. Not the right guy to foul, an 84% free throw shooter. Did he come alive in the second half against St. John's on Friday night? He had 8 points at halftime and finished with 20.
Some of the shots at the opening that we showed of this ball game, beautiful basketball the other night, and Dawkins with a big-time goal for the winner.
14-12, Jayhawk lead is cut as Duke puts up 4 unanswered points with 13:45 remaining first half. Good deflection by Danny Ferry. He's claiming that it last touched Manning. The officials don't see it that way.
1-3-1 look that time, and Ferry bailed him out with those big arms.
Larry Brown, the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks. Told you that he likes living in Lawrence, Kansas.
Well, right now,
well, that's only because of all of the traveling that Larry has done. His frequent flyer ticket must be punched a lot.
Yeah, he is enjoying it.
Here's Manning in the paint. Doesn't go, and the rebound, Amaker comes down with a loose ball.
Manning's one of those guys that looks pass first. You notice?
Here's Amaker. Shot wasn't there. Gives off to his backcourt mate.
Nice play.
Pretty roll to Ferry. Shot is short, and Piper with the rebound. Here's the outlet pass to Kellogg. Ahead to Hunter. He misses the shot. Thompson Thompson had the rebound. Ferry with a great save. Here comes Dawkins in transition. And a good play the other way by Cedric Hunter. You steal from me, I'll steal it back.
Good help there by Tommy Amaker.
Action getting a little raggedy. Watch out, watch out. The ball is still loose, and it is the big man that comes up with it, Danny Ferry. Love it.
Wild, huh? Pretty good hands, good recoveries both ends.
14-12. We remind you of the score during that altercation on the floor. Kansas in front with 12:35 to play in the half. Amaker with the pull-up.
A little clear for him. Quick feet, great square up.
Amaker scores for the first time tonight, and we're tied at 14.
1-3-1 look again, Howard.
Getting ready for another substitution for the Jayhawks. Archie Marshall getting ready to check in for Kansas. Here's Kellogg, way off the mark. Last touched by Manning, and it'll be Duke ball as the substitution coming into the ball game for Duke, number 31, Kevin Strickland, in the middle of your screen.
They're both clubs able to get good shots, exploiting the defense of the opponent.
Archie Marshall checks into the game. Calvin Thompson is out for Kansas.
No clear out here for Dawkins.
This is Strickland. Ooh. Nice backdoor pass to Dawkins. Strong move to the hoop. Ferry with the follow. And we're going to get a loose ball foul against Billy King, I believe, as he fouled Archie Marshall. With 11:50 remaining, as you look at Mike Krzyzewski, the head coach at Duke, we're tied at 14. And let's go to Steve Grad of the Sports Bureau. Steve?
Thank you, Howard. The Sports Bureau is brought to you by New Mylanta 2, the double-strength antacid. We've got a lot of exciting scores to report to you now. First of all, in the National Basketball Association, several key games on the West Coast. The San Antonio Spurs leading the Portland Trail Blazers by 4 points in the third quarter, 67-63. Chicago Bulls, LA Lakers, a little bit later. We'll have more, but first this.
Does your antacid work fast enough?
It seems to take forever.
Does your antacid...
Well, since Billy Raftery does Nets basketball broadcasts, you might know who that man is.
Well, he's highly upset that Dawkins is going to take away his scoring title at Duke. Mike Jaminski, off to a great year. His former coach here, Larry Brown. And, of course, a Duke University alum.
He's got mixed emotions in, doesn't he? He wants Brown to do well, but not against his Duke team.
No, I think he's rooting for Duke. But Larry Brown, of course, with the Nets, won. Amazing ability. Great win over Louisville the other night.
Against an excellent basketball team.
They're going to be very tough come tournament time.
All four of the teams that made the semis, I think, will be. St. John surprised a lot of people by getting this far.
Zone has helped Duke, slowed this quick cutting Kansas team down. But watch for Kellogg deep. Great long jumper.
Here's Kellogg with the long jump. Nice scouting report, Coach. Oh,
he can really nail him.
Well, he can really support the color commentators, too.
And he makes him at a 56% number. I think you got to play up. Backdoor.
Backdoor to Dawkins. Did he go up in the air?
Tommy Amaker off the marker. Would have been a goal.
Amaker with the pull-up again. Front iron. Ball kept alive, and it is finally Manning that comes down with a loose ball. Look at this big man handle the ball. Manning ahead. That's Marshall in the game. Here's Kellogg going baseline with the floater.
A little too close for him.
Amaker out of the pack. Sees King on the right side to the basket.
Good defense.
Marshall with the rebound. Here they go the other way. A 3-on-2. Low pass. Amaker will take it the other way. Got Johnny Dawkins for the jumper. And the tip by Ferry.
What a use of the dribble. Dawkins didn't nail the jumper, but Ferry with great hustle. But what a dribble by Dawkins to free himself for that jumper.
That ties it at 16 with 10:20 remaining. As Allery and Henderson get ready to check back in for the Blue Devils. Manning in the paint.
He starts outside, then he cuts either to the foul line or to the boxes and becomes a guard in there. Either makes the shot or dishes.
Danny Manning is everything everybody said and perhaps a little bit more. At 6'11", he can handle the basketball.
Pretty good recruiting coup by Larry,
yes,
huh?
Indeed.
Getting Ed first. Ed Manning, the father, the assistant coach, and then this young man.
Amaker with a good fake. Dawkins, oh, can he drill it or what?
You'll notice Duke does a lot of pump faking. That's out of the Bobby Knight school. All his clubs really get the defender up in the air with a quick move.
You mean Bob Knight?
Well, we got you. I told him I'm going to continue the Bobby.
Yeah, just to give him a little zing, right?
Well, I'm not married to him.
It's Kellogg. Oh, what can this man do it? Ron Kellogg puts Kansas in front 20-18 with 9:18 remaining in the first half.
That could change Mike Krzyzewski's mind a little bit with the zone. Keep nailing those, and of course, Larry Brown would love to see the man-to-man. He runs some great cuts, some great stuff.
Here's Ferry posting up on Piper with the turnaround. He forced that one.
Thought he got hit
with the rebound. Nice follow, and he missed it. It is Hunter that starts the 2-on-2. He wants it himself, and the dish, the lay-in by Kellogg.
Nice hands by Duke and pretty good balance. Looked like a breakaway. Dawkins able to get back.
Kansas opens up a 4-point lead. Their biggest lead was 6. Duke has never been in front of this ball game.
1-4.
They're doing all of this with Dreiling on the bench. Kansas running game is working very well. Here's Strickland, had to step for a moment. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. King with a pretty turnaround.
Well, they tried to get King in low. They didn't get him on the box, so he moved out. Good-looking move.
Nice move by Billy King, mostly a defensive specialist last year. Had a good night against St. John's with 9 points. Good floor game. What impresses me about Billy King, I'll tell you about it in a second. Here's Kellogg with the step on Strickland, and the jump. It goes in a foul.
He is tough. You know, this set is very similar to the T game, or the look that North Carolina shows, where they put Manning on the high post and they have the center down on the box. He's able to see the floor and dump it off.
Manning comes out, Piper comes out, 23 Marshall comes out. Dreiling, as you see, is back in the ball game, and he is joined by 6'7" freshman Jerry Johnson. Kellogg now 5 of 7 from the floor. Calvin Thompson's back in the game for the Kansas Jayhawks. 3-point play for Ron Kellogg. Is he having a night or what?
Chris, if he's open, the zone is letting him open, he can convert.
11 points for Kellogg, a 5-point Kansas lead. Billy King with a running one-hander.
Allery had been out quite a while.
Allery's been out 7.5 minutes. He's back in the game now with 7:40 to play.
I only have him for 1 foul. How about you?
Allery, 2 fouls.
So, okay. No wonder.
It's Harry with the golden hands, he told me that. Kansas losing control of the ball. The new man in the game, Jerry Johnson. The freshman from Omaha. A little intimidated by stepping on the floor of America's showplace for college basketball. Score right now is 7:28 remaining in the first half. Kansas 25, Duke 22. 5:22. This is one ceiling that Da Vinci didn't paint.
Well, it's a cathedral of its own, in its own right. But, you know, Mark Allery, a gamble now with the 2, as you mentioned. He's been told, I'm sure, don't give a foul. Play intelligent, play tough, but please don't get number 3.
Amaker and Dawkins in the backcourt. Henderson, King, and Allery. This is Henderson. Pretty pass inside for Allery. Last touch by Mark. It'll be Kansas ball.
That whole set was not in sync whatsoever. Allery and King had gotten to the box. They were in both each one's way. They have to get organized a little bit on their offense.
5th turnover against the Blue Devils. Kansas has been hit with 7 turnovers thus far with less than 7 minutes to play in the first half. Calvin Thompson for Kansas. Cedric Hunter comes up with a loose ball. Kellogg for the short pop. Allery with the rebound. Henderson right up with the jump shot. Wasted no time.
Of course, without Bilas, you'll see Allery inside, but eventually he'll move out. He's an excellent jump shooter.
Of course, Bill referring to Jay Bilas, who's been out of the Big Apple tournament with tendonitis. That leg injury has been a pain in Mike Krzyzewski's neck.
And other areas.
Here's Thompson with the fadeaway.
Oh, goodness. That was a tough goal.
Calvin Thompson, who had 25 on Friday night against Louisville. He is 4 for 4 from the outside. This is Billy King going on Dreiling inside to Allery. Nice move by Allery, and the foul is going to go on Dreiling. That is his third.
They've been unable to get the ball in tight one of the few times, and Allery with the experience able to get Dreiling up in the air.
So Chris Piper will come into the ball game. Jerry Johnson goes out.
We mentioned the pump fakes with the basketball. A little pump will get the man up in the air, gets by one, and then good contact. Make sure you release the basketball. Good play by Allery.
Kansas with some substitutions. There you get a look at Archie Marshall, who comes back into the game, and Mark Turgeon, wearing number 11, the junior from Topeka, is in the ball game as well for Duke. Turgeon the Surgeon, as he's referred to. Had a pretty good game the other night against Louisville. Good floor leader.
Solid. He runs that backdoor play pretty well. Shows and then dumps it behind the defender.
King goes out of the ball game, by the way. And Danny Ferry is back in for Duke. Kansas leads 27-26. This is Turgeon, who we spoke of.
There it is.
Here's the back door. Another good scouting report for Raftery.
Well, man,
send it in.
Man to man. And did they send it in? Whew.
Calvin Thompson with authority.
Off the floor and off the dribble. Pretty good look, huh? High percentage field goal.
Inside pass, the turnaround by Dawkins, and back at you. 29-28, Duke trailing Kansas.
You see Kansas' eyes light up with man-to-man. They run it pretty effectively. Quick cuts. Back screen off the ball.
Calvin Thompson. Move over Henderson. Or get out of the way.
Some strength. Mike Krzyzewski wants the foul. You see him in the background. Power move.
6 for 6 for Calvin Thompson. He has 12 points. 31-28 Kansas with less than 5 minutes remaining in the first half of play of this Big Apple Classic final. Henderson with the jumper. You think this is preseason stuff. This looks like late season stuff. The lead to Marshall for the jumper.
Turgeon got rid of it right away. I don't know about that shot, though.
Here's Amaker all the way down. He puts it up smartly, and the foul is going to go against Kansas. Could be Turgeon or Thompson. Calvin Thompson, perhaps.
I think they got it before Turgeon set up. Actually, the bump into him.
Senior Weldon Williams on your left, number 40. And that's Quinn Snyder sitting alongside of him, who's going to come into the game, probably to give Amaker a breather. But Williams comes into the game. It will be a non-shooting foul. Amaker goes to the bench. Henderson goes to the bench. Quinn Snyder comes into the game, wearing number 14 for Duke. And Weldon Williams wearing number 40. This is Snyder. Every mom likes a kid like Snyder. I'll tell you that right off the top of my head. I think I was a National Honor Society student as a senior in high school with a 3.9 grade point average.
Gonna have a lot of problem with the girls, too, huh?
Yeah.
Not a very good-looking boy, is he?
Yeah, on the basketball team at Duke. Here's Dawkins. Doesn't get the iron, but the follow is good by Williams, and a foul call.
Kansas got what they wanted, the miss on the jump shot, but good inside position there.
Weldon Williams makes the bucket, gives Duke the lead for the first time tonight.
Well, when you've got floor speed like Duke has, you can take this. You know you're going to balance. Send your big guys crashing. Good inside position. Williams. Whew.
Weldon Williams with a free throw does not go, and the rebound to Archie Marshall. But a 32-31 Duke lead. The lead pass too far, intended for Danny Manning.
Not a bad look. Judgment wasn't good.
8th turnover against the Jayhawks of Kansas. Snyder running the set play.
Flat 3-2.
Williams isolated, and the jumper short over Piper. The rebound to Calvin Thompson. Here's Turgeon.
So they reverse it right away. Bring it down one way. Kick it.
Kellogg, or rather Manning with room.
We'll never leave the ball alone.
(32-31) Duke, 3:39 to play in the first half. Baseline jumper, Mark Allery.
First time he's been able to get outside and be free.
Duke has scored 8 unanswered points, and they have taken a 3-point lead, 34-31. 3:22 to play, first half. Calvin Thompson, he's had a hot hand in the first half.
Oh,
he has not missed. Calvin Thompson is 7 for 7 from the floor.
A little bit of a force, still able to make it.
I've written Thompson's name so many times in the last 3 minutes, you'd think I was his press agent. Snyder inside pass, he forced it, and Kansas coming up with a turnover. For Duke, that's their 6th. Give it to the man with a hot hand. Here's Manning. He's got the cold hand. Williams with a rebound.
Nice looking move.
34-33 Blue Devils, 2:35 to play first half as Amaker and Henderson come off the bench. Weldon Williams.
Ooh, if he put that one up, I think there would have been a hook out.
Danny Ferry. Kansas making Duke take the outside shot, will not let him inside, and controlling the boards very well. With their big man sitting on the bench, Greg Dreiling. Here's Turgeon. Inside pass to Thompson, the fadeaway, it doesn't go. It took a foul. It took a foul to finally get Thompson to miss. Unbelievable. King comes into the game for Duke, along with Henderson. Larry Brown's team behind right now, 34-33, but Calvin Thompson can put him back in front as Turgeon goes back to the bench.
And that post pass by him on time enabled Thompson to do something. Just a little thing, but boy, does it play a role.
Here's Calvin Thompson. Don't expect him to miss many free throws. He holds the Kansas record of 33 consecutive free throws. Jerry Johnson comes back into the game, number 43 as you see him, replacing Chris Piper for Larry Brown's Jayhawks. Thompson cans them both. And Kansas now retakes the lead, 35-34 with 2:08 to play. Let's go to the Sports Bureau and Steve Gray. Coming up on the Ms. Lou Television Network and USA Network, the second annual Cherry Bowl from the Pontiac Silverdome. The Syracuse Orangemen, who have a pretty fair basketball team, against the Terps from Maryland, who also have a pretty fair basketball program, coached by one Charles G. Drizel. Everybody's switching names this year.
He's a little concerned, too. Well, senior citizen now.
Amaker at Duke with 1:50 to play until halftime. This is Mark Gallery with a pretty baseline move. Almost to follow by Dawkins, and Marshall with a rebound. The lead to Hunter. It is almost frightening how good these teams are going to be in another 2 months if they're this good now. Pretty defensive play by Allery. Can you imagine when Duke gets Billis back? Oh, good night.
Jerry Johnson with a good cut. Usually you can't flash post like that against Duke.
Nice move by Henderson. Kellogg trying to take the charge. And good no call by the officials.
I'll tell you, Larry Brown annoyed at Ron Kellogg for giving up that baseline so easily.
36-35 Blue Devils with 1:06 to play until halftime. Manning and Hunter. This is Marshall. Good side pass and a good defensive play by Billy King. Danny Ferry comes back into the ball game for the Duke Blue Devils to replace Mark Allery.
They stole a few minutes with him without getting number 3.
Henderson leading Duke with 12 points. 15 for Thompson. He leads 16 for Thompson. He leads everybody.
Good steal.
Good steal by Henderson. One-on-one with Manning in the jam. The crowd comes alive on the jam. 38-35 Duke. Henderson has hit 6 consecutive field goal tries. The floater by Hunter is no good, and Ferry on the rebound. Here comes Dawkins with 23 seconds to play. The steal by Hunter the other way.
He made up. Larry Brown wanted one shot. Cedric Hunter forced it. He made up for it.
The second time he's done that. He's had the ball taken from him, and he reacquires it. We have 10 seconds left until a halftime. Duke by 3. With 6 seconds, with 5, Hunter with 4, Hunter with 3, with 2, the shot doesn't go, and that's going to be the last shot of the first half. And it has been a beauty. 38-35, Duke in front, and a very fast pace first half. From Madison Square Garden, this inaugural Big Apple final has been 38-35. Keys in the second half, Bill.
Well, this Duke team really bailed out with their zone, kept Allery in the basketball game when they inserted him back in, and Kansas able to take away Duke's inside game. If Duke gets perking inside and also gets Allery to shoot the jump shot a little bit, they can be tough. But right now, I think Kansas has the better hand of it because their defense is inhibiting Duke's performance.
How about stopping Calvin Thompson? Can you do it?
Well, Chris, that's the other end.
Thompson having a big half with 16 points. Here's Cedric Hunter looking to take it inside. Kellogg off the pick.
Oh, he doesn't need much room. Kansas is running their offense so well, it's tough. You may have to see more switching by Duke because of the back picks. They're freeing people, Kansas, on their offense.
13 points for Ron Kellogg. It's a one-point game with Duke in front. The alley-oop to Allery inside. The basket counts, and a foul is called on Ron Kellogg.
You know what's intriguing about this game? Maybe the two best passes on the floor are Manning and Furry. You know, both big people that play outside. That was a long lead pass to the post. Great shape up by Allery, but Furry with the gamble pass.
Of course, you all remember, Duke fans do, the job that Allery did in the ACC tournament against Maryland. He had a big night and injured his hip in the late stages of the game, did not play against Georgia Tech, and ultimately that had to cost Duke the ACC final championship. Allery with a three-point play. And the Blue Devils lead by 4, 41-37. We are in the first minute of play, the Big Apple Classic Final.
Good cut and pass. You know, Greg Drailing shaped up and really opened things up for the cut by Kellogg. And, of course, Manning very good at finding people.
Kellogg with 15 points. Two-point game, Duke in front. Ball is glass going off the hand of Danny Manning. And it is Kellogg urging on Manning. Henderson. Nice move by Allery.
Now that particular play saw Kellogg down on the floor. I'd award Allery a shot on that particular play. Got there late. Ooh. Pretty good move again, baseline.
4-point Duke lead. This is Calvin Thompson. What a hot hand he had in the first half.
Tough to defend all the motion here.
Cedric Hunter is fouled as he cuts to the basket by Tommy Amaker.
You know, that matchup, Hunter has handled the ball very well. Mike Krzyzewski, before the game, felt if Amaker could rag him in the backcourt, could help them. But Hunter able to penetrate, keep his dribble.
They match up pretty well. Here's Drailing. Might have taken too many steps and gets the basket.
Nice spin move, though. He was free for quite a while. Hunter never spotted him.
Drailing is now 2 for 2. Total of 6 points on the night. 43-41. Blue Devils of Duke in front. Dawkins with room.
Good cross court.
Remember how quiet he was in the first half against St. John's with 8 points. Came back, scored 12 in the second half. Could see a repeat of that performance.
You had a good point. They're not able to run, which takes a little of his game away.
Turnaround Manning.
And Calvin Thompson showing he can do all things with that post pass to the correct hand.
Duke in front by 2 with 17:45 remaining second half. Henderson on the pass and a good play defensively by Danny Manning.
Now they empty everybody out, Duke, back there, so they can let the man roam box to box. It's not a gamble pass. Oh, Kellogg left Allery all alone and paid for it.
Allery, an excellent shooter from the outside. He is opening up offensively here in the second half. Oh. Allery with 11 points in the game. He only had 7 at halftime.
I could see leaving us alone, but not Mark Allery.
There's Manning right back at you. I said Allery had 7 at halftime. He had 4 at halftime. He now has a total of 11. Here's Henderson with the step. How about that move?
Nice slide by.
Henderson now with 16, and there's a blocking foul called on Amaker of Duke.
I like
Blue
the call.
Devils wanted the charge.
I think it was a good call. Boy, Hunter pushing that ball, speed dribble up the floor. Tommy Amaker on the move, trying to pick it up.
The non-shooting foul. Cedric Hunter to trigger for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Come on, Kansas!
Here's Calvin Thompson.
A lot of clubs like to zone you out of bounds. Duke did at that time.
Manning on the turnaround. He's hit his last 3. Manning with 10 points. And he's 6 for 6 as well.
4-on-1.
Here's the lead and the nice fast break by the Jayhawks. Kellogg with the lay-in.
The Manning does whatever's necessary. Very smooth. Didn't shoot well in the first half. Made a few jumpers at the box. On the break, a nice look.
The Jayhawks are 7 for 7, Bill, in the second half, and they tie it at 49. Manning thought he got ball, and Henderson said, "You got ball and part of my right hand."
I think hitting the floor helped, but Danny Manning just contributed so much to this Kansas team. Here the read coming out quickly. Good pump fake. We mentioned Duke doing that. I believe maybe Kellogg underneath or inside. Manning all ball. A bump maybe by somebody else.
Wasn't Manning.
Wasn't him.
Foul. Look at this.
That is clean.
Got his hand on Spalding all the way.
Oof.
Henderson makes the front end of the 2-shot foul. 17 points for Henderson, make it 18. He is a nice player.
See the rag by Amaker there? I'll tell you, Hunter's done a marvelous job just handling the ball, setting up the offense.
Ball is thrown away by Kansas Hunter. Friday night, we didn't expect to see much, if at all, of David Henderson. And he had a pretty good night against the St. John's Redmen. He had 16. Thus far tonight, he has 18 points as the Blue Devils lead by 2. Lou Holtz will coach his last football game for the Golden Gophers of Minnesota against Danny Ford's Clemson Tigers. The Independence Bowl coming up on Mizzlou TV Sports and USA Sports. Second half field goal efficiency. You can see Kansas 7 for 7. Duke 5 of 7. From the floor. Spoke to Lou Holtz the other day, 20 minutes after I found out that Jerry Faust had quit. And I said, "Are you really going to go to Notre Dame?" And he says, "Well, my contract says I can get out of it and go to Notre Dame." I said, "What are you going to do now? Faust just quit 20 minutes ago." It's like I hit him with a brick. Foul away from the play.
The big guy, too, trailing. And that's their stack. Number 4, you can see the arms up in disgust there by Greg Drailing. But Duke hasn't run a stack all game. That time they set it up, and they got Allery outside for an open jump shot. He couldn't put it down, but in position for the offensive rebound.
What does this do now to Kansas? The big man goes to the bench. And now as you get a look at number 24, Chris Piper, who's at 6'8". Sophomore from Lawrence comes into the game. What does it do to Kansas now? The big man's gone.
I don't think it'll affect either club, to be honest with you.
Allery trying to shoot from his knees, and he traveled with it.
Neither club is big at this point. Tough, not a high percentage position to be in, is it? But again, Duke able to get the ball. That's the toughest part to defend. Little slide there. And the walk.
He's going to learn that knee shot if it takes him all night. 15 and a half to play in regulation. Here's Kellogg, little strong off the glass, and Allery comes down with it. 51-49 Duke. Good inside pass, and Henderson on the push-off. He knocked Kellogg almost into the Reds. Those are the seats at the Garden.
Both clubs, I think, post up well. They seem to be getting the ball in deeper at either end. That's why the scoring has improved and the game warmed up a little bit.
Larry Brown, the head coach at Kansas. Mike Krzyzewski, the head coach at Duke. Two of America's best young head coaches. The wave is changing just a little bit. Here's Hunter, an onside pass, and intercepted by Henderson.
Now, he's made 2 bad ones after a nice compliment. Oh,
traveling violation against Henderson. I thought they were going to call a foul on Calvin Thompson.
Or I thought Kellogg may have hipped him, and then he walked.
Well, hip checks are okay as long as it's not on the ice.
Well, that's the Rangers are away. The ice is up.
14:48 remaining. There's your score. The Blue Devils lead by a field goal.
Duke with the 1-3-1. Little zone last sequence as well as this one.
Quick hands by Johnny Dawkins, and Dawkins making the call and the official paying attention.
Gene Manji really at a disadvantaged position underneath it, but all of a sudden, silly turnovers by Kansas. 3 in a row there, huh?
Kansas with 13 team turnovers thus far. Duke has 10, and Duke has the lead.
Double screen Dawkins.
They look for Dawkins. He finds the open man, Henderson. How about Henderson? Can he play?
Power to the basket. Ooh.
Henderson with 20 points.
It's a forwards game, getting back to your question. We're trailing out. A lot of speed, a lot of mobility out there.
Calvin Thompson. Is there any place he doesn't make a shot from?
He's having a heck of a night.
Calvin Thompson with 18. He's 8 for 8 from the floor. Nice move by Amaker, but he just couldn't get away. That's the shot that won the game for Duke on Friday night.
Well, that was good defense, and just that back dribble freed Johnny Dawkins. Quick release.
Dawkins with a dozen.
1-3-1.
Thompson again.
Boy, that penetrating dribble by Hunter put the defense, made it collapse back into the 3-second lane and the dish off.
He's a computer out there tonight, Calvin Thompson. Thompson with 20 points. Allery with a nice move. Manning with the rebound. Oh, fast break of the classic variety, but the charge. Basket will count, and the foul afterwards. King taking the charge, but Calvin Thompson electrifying the crowd off the fast break. He now has hit.
This is a Robin Hood call-out. Take from the rich, give to the poor, right? Wipe it out if you want it that way. I'd rather see this. Score the goal and guys won't step in under the basket. I thought he got there late. Whew, should have been another 2 free throws. He got there late.
I agree. I agree. The Great Alaska Shootout in the finals. Nevada, Las Vegas leading North Carolina 34-28 at the half. Henderson in the paint.
They've been able, Duke, to get the ball where they want it. If this continues, Duke will be very tough to beat.
Duke by 2 with 12:39 remaining in the second half.
Good lob.
Nice lead to Manning.
Great seal-off. Danny Manning in or out, very tough.
They said that this tournament was going to give teams an opportunity to play the best competition before you get into your schedule.
Oh! When in doubt, slam it. He heard the whistle.
Amaker will go to the line. Thompson has 4 personal fouls.
A little help from upstairs. Kellogg helping too. Bang the glass. That's what it's there for.
Tommy Amaker will go to the free throw line. He had 7 assists against St. John's on Friday night. He can appropriate some passes he learned from Oregon Senator Mark Hatfield when he worked for the Senate Appropriations Committee a couple of summers ago. Amaker with a 3-point play, and Duke has a 3-point lead.
He's had his hands full, though. He's been trying to rag Cedric Hunter. A tough assignment.
We're seeing the 5th and 6th ranked teams in the country, and it could be that way at the end of the year.
Good steal off defensively there.
Almost a good steal by Hunter. How about the return by Amaker?
So it was terrific. It really was. First, Dawkins went to the hole. He knew his man was on the floor. He took advantage.
Allery off the pass by Amaker and a foul inside. It could go against Chris Piper, 24.
Now, years ago, when I was at Seton Hall, we played Army, and they were devastating when Mike Krzyzewski was the coach there. They just bang it down, little back screen, little nudge by Dawkins, but boy, did they deliver the ball on time. Great power move there by Allery.
You like the passes inside by Duke, huh?
Well, that's the name of the game, and they've been, so effective the last couple of minutes. When they need a basket, they're getting an easy one.
Allery 11th all time on the Duke scoring list. And he'll go a little higher as the season progresses. 4-point Duke lead. This would match their biggest lead, and it does. A 5-point lead for the Duke Blue Devils. When Duke lost Jay Billis, they thought they were going to be in trouble in the early going. They're playing great without him. They lead by 5. Fouls can play such a big part in the game of college basketball, Bill Rafter, as you well know. And coming down the stretch, there are a couple of players that are a little bit of foul trouble for Kansas, Calvin Thompson and Greg Dreiling.
Of course, they're both important, and what it does puts Danny Manning inside, too. He can't roam the floor.
How about the shooting in the second half? Not too shabby.
Hot. But both getting the ball where they want it, and that makes, the shooting percentages soar.
Well, we were talking during the commercial break about the caliber of play this early in the season. Amazing.
Players are so good. I mean, they're ready October 15th. Other than the nuances of the game.
Here's Kellogg. Dawkins trying to get out of the pack using his right hand as a shield. Almost committed a backcourt violation.
Of course, the ball didn't cross. He picked that foot up, didn't he?
Like he stepped on hot coals.
Oh, great cut. And Danny Furry, third time tonight he's made an excellent pass to a cutting man.
The big men have been able to pass the ball tonight, and Duke opens up a 7-point lead. The score with 10:59 remaining in the second half. Duke 64, Kansas 57. That's what the real Wizard of Oz looks like.
Larry's got some work, Brown that is, before he goes back to Kansas. And, without Dreiling, their inside defense hasn't been as effective. And again, getting the ball where they want it. Furry wisely waited, looked around. Good cut, the delivery. Billy King with the goal.
Passing has been superb.
Sure has. Kansas looks like they're trying to hammer it in deep now.
Archie Marshall's in the game. Manning on the turnaround.
Every time there's a timeout, you can bet the house. The coaches say, we need a goal, let's go low. They start playing, they forget about it.
5-point lead. Here's Amaker.
Nice pass again.
Good defensive play by the Jayhawks. Piper comes down with a loose ball. They want to run. The lead to Kellogg, the touch to Marshall in the basket.
Good spark now.
Archie Marshall with a basket, and the Blue Devils now find themselves with a 3-point lead. 10:13 remaining, second half. Amaker finding it off his sneak. Then it'll be Kansas ball on the turnover. For Duke, their 11th turnover. As you see, David Henderson, who's become Mr. Electricity for the Blue Devils early on in the season. Henderson with 22 points in the ball game. Less than 10 minutes to play in the second half. Duke in front 64-61. Piper looking for the cut. This is Manning. Takes Ferry in the paint. Followed by Marshall and Allery with the carom.
Just a little bump inside is all they're working.
Ferry with room. Here's Manning, 1-on-2. Cedric Hunter, rather, and a foul is going to be called on Amaker.
Tommy Amaker had Danny Furry behind him. He really didn't have to make a stand. Furry ready to assist his teammate. You can see the use of the dribble here. Great penetration by Hunter, but Furry waiting at home should have communicated.
Cedric Hunter with 9 assists against Louisville on Friday night. By the way, St. John's beat Louisville by 8 points for 3rd place in the Big Apple Classic earlier tonight. 86-78 was the final. Piper and Marshall. Dreiling is still on the bench in foul trouble with 4. Here's Hunter. And the foul is going to go against Duke.
I think it might be Allery.
If it is Mark Allery, that would be his 3rd. He's kept pretty quiet in the foul area since early on in the ball game.
His 3rd personal foul, 3 on Allery. Duke has 5 team fouls.
One of the greats of basketball, ran into him earlier tonight. Arnold Red Auerbach, watching the action tonight.
He's won a few games.
Marshall has hit his last 2. Archie Marshall gets Kansas within 1, 64-63 with 8:49 to play.
Go double for Dawkins out high.
Henderson is the one that kept it alive.
Oh, Henderson took Piper down, then Piper banged him back.
Amaker with room.
Duke just finds people when they're free. Kansas not able to recover it, pick up their own man.
A 3-point lead for the Blue Devils with 8:22 to play in the second half. The alley-oop pass. Manning had it. Now Dawkins comes up with it. A 2-on-1. Amaker with the floater. The follow by Dawkins.
Oh, that's a guard. I thought Amaker should have dished it back. He had his man up in the air, but Johnny Dawkins showing another side of his ability.
Same result. Rather than dish off, he got the rebound. A 5-point Duke lead with less than 8 minutes to play. Here's a steal by Henderson. Hold on to your seat.
He didn't get up as high as he wanted. He's very fortunate.
Henderson with 24. The Blue Devils open up a 7-point lead, their biggest margin. Here's Marshall. Manning right back.
Well, he screened off well. Normally those corner jumpers will come to the opposite side of the rim. Good screen off there by Danny Manning.
7:28 to play in the second half. Duke leading Kansas 70-65. Now let's go to the sports. The Blue Devils of Duke with a 5-point lead. They took the lead from Kansas with 7 unanswered points early on. Then Kansas returned the favor by putting down 6 of their own, but then Duke opened up the lead once again with 6 unanswered points. Second half been a half a streak so far, Billy.
Sure has, and again, that inside game of Duke has put a lot of pressure without Dreiling in there on the defense of Kansas. None of that big obstacle to help out.
When Greg Dreiling went out of the game with 15:43 to play in this half, Duke was ahead by 2. So the absence of Dreiling hasn't meant a whole lot, and he's coming back in the game.
As we speak, I was curious.
Good defense by the Jayhawks. Cedric Hunter now trying to get Kansas within 3 with 7 minutes remaining in the half. Good defensive play by Henderson, doing it at both ends of the floor. The big man comes back into the game. Greg Dreiling.
Once in a while, Danny Manning will snap the basketball a little bit too hard and throw the line drive. If he had bounced that ball softly, Kansas may have had a basket. Playing with 4 now, Dreiling.
Kellogg's jumper and a foul on Johnny Dawkins. Personal on Johnny Dawkins is his 3rd. Make it his 2nd. And Ron Kellogg will go to the free throw line, the All-America candidate. And speaking of All-America candidates, Johnny Dawkins certainly high on everybody's list, but Kellogg had some season last year. He had 5 30-point games. And if you think he's just an offensive player, you'd be wrong. He has 17 tonight. He had 20 against Louisville. He was also on the All-Big 8 defensive team.
Nice prospect. Of course, they need some points from him down the stretch here.
4-point lead for Duke, 70-66 with 6:45 remaining in the second half. Amaker with Thompson. And here's Dreiling.
delay, though, by Kellogg. Didn't force the issue. Waited for their big man, Danny Manning, that time.
Kansas has cut the lead to 2 with 6:24 remaining. This is King. You keep waiting for them to go to Dawkins, but Henderson, the man with the hot hand tonight. Good move by Henderson. He was going down and he got rid of it to his own man. "13 seconds left on the shot clock. Henderson from long range. When he slipped before, it didn't hurt him at all.
May have hurt his leg, not his arm.
A 4-point Duke lead with 5:45 remaining in the second half. Riley with everybody cutting, looking for the back door. Almost a great play by Amaker. And here's Hunter. And a foul's going to be called on Cedric Hunter for the charge.
I'll tell you, Cedric Hunter with a pretty good penetration. I think Michael may have gotten away with one, a slide under. Tough call against Kansas. Drelling almost gets caught in a jump ball, dishes it off. Hunter here now with the dribble. He was there. Easier call than I thought.
So Billy King will go to the free throw line. Mike Krzyzewski, whose team's in front by 4.
Oh, Billy King
almost threw up the air
he
ball.
struggles from the free throw line. Last year, he only shot 32%.
Here's Calvin Thompson, who's shooting much greater than that tonight. The following tip by the little guy, Cedric Hunter.
Maybe the smallest guy on the floor.
Cedric Hunter at 6 foot even. Gets in among all those redwoods and taps it home. That is his first points of the night, and it could not have come at a more opportune moment for Kansas. They bring it within 2. And a foul reaching in on Kellogg.
But the spacing by Kansas hasn't been the type that Larry Brown's accustomed to. They're flat. They're letting the man shape up in the lane without getting ahead a step or 2.
So Mark Gallery will go to the free throw line.
Mark Gallery on the line. Good shot.
He'll shoot 2.
Correction, 1-on-1.
Actually, it was a 1-on-1 opportunity, but I knew he was going to shoot 2. Thanks, Mark, for bailing me out. And he makes 2. 74-70 Duke with 5 minutes exactly remaining in the second half.
Those Duke all touch the floor. They want to get that real low this sequence. Switch the exchange outside.
Here's Dreiling.
Nice move.
The big man can turn in the lane.
Be awful tough for Allery to guard Drelling. Kansas might be wise to dump it into the big guy whenever they can.
Drelling with 8 points. And he has brought Kansas back within 2 with 4.5 to play. Inside pass and a beauty from Amaker to Henderson.
I have no idea how Tommy Amaker got that through.
You've heard of threading the needle? He just did it that time.
He had steam on it.
4-point Blue Devil lead as we approach 4 minutes remaining in the second half. I won't say the game because we may go to OT with this one. Here's Hunter. Back tap by Dreiling.
But they ought to go right into the big guy. Let him work.
Here is said big guy. And the follow by Danny Manning.
Soft enough shot where Manning could follow it up.
It is still a 2-point game now with 3:40 to play. Jockeys back and forth between 4 and 2 Duke lead. Big trip down the floor for the Blue Devils. Amaker with a running one-hander. And the follow by Allery.
Gotta lay a body on him. Duke taking advantage.
3:20 to play now, and Duke in front by 4.
Little zone now. Force Kansas outside if they can.
Manning wants the ball, and Allery blocks the shot.
I actually thought he was trying to pass that ball. When he turned and dumped, I thought he was looking for a cutter.
He wanted the ball badly.
Yeah.
And Duke now going into a variation of 4 corners.
Little delay.
Whatever Phoenix is, that's what Krzyzewski is yelling out. With 12 on the shot clock. I get it. Dawkins is Phoenix. And by the time Johnny Dawkins gets to Phoenix, he's going to bring Duke a victory.
Well, what Cubs are doing, they're running a delay. Of course, Kansas didn't come out and play him. And then they're running their offense late in the 45-second sequence. And here with a great quick speed, Dawkins able to spring himself from the low post out and in traffic, delivering.
Greg Dreiling is fouled out of the ball game, and Archie Marshall, as you see, will come in. Dreiling leaves the game with 8 points. With 2:38 to play, and Kansas now trailing by 6. They lose their center. And Dawkins will go to the line with a chance to complete a 3-point play. Dawkins with 16 points, 8 in each half thus far.
Yeah, he was quiet. He was defended well. Didn't force anything, though.
And even when he wasn't getting many shots, he didn't appear to be frustrated.
No, not at all. Win. Name of the game.
6-point Duke lead with 2:28 remaining and counting.
They got a turnover on their defense the last time with the 2-3.
Danny Manning, the All-America, brings Kansas within 4 with 2:10 to play.
Oh, 2-1-2 spread now. Oh, terrible turnover.
Almost a mistake, and good reaction by Billy King.
Boy, Cedric Hunter quick to the basketball.
He is quick. We talked about it at the top of the show, about the quickness out on the floor tonight. Between Amaker and Dawkins and Hunter. You got the Indy 500 going right out here on the Madison Square Garden floor. Here's Allery.
Oh, on the run. Boy, they're doing that well, huh? Going from a delay into their motion.
6-point Duke lead with 1.5 minutes to play. Kellogg with the baseline, throws up a brick, and Henderson comes up with the ball.
Had to make some call there, though. One way or the other.
I would have thought so.
Oof.
Now Kansas may have to start thinking about fouling some people. Dawkins is not the guy you want to foul. The guy you want to foul, King, I would think, would be King.
That's all.
We're coming to 1 minute remaining in regulation time. 15 on the shot clock. And the foul, Cedric Hunter as he fouls Johnny Dawkins.
Almost the only guy you could try. They're going to try and keep the ball away from King, I'm sure. Keep it in the guard's hands or Mark Allery.
Danny Ferry checks back into the ball game. And going to the bench is Billy King. King with 6 points on the night. Mark Turgeon checking back into the Kansas lineup. And Archie Marshall goes out. Kansas going with a smaller lineup.
Now, if you look back, if Duke happens to hang on, which it looks like they will, taking Allery out with the 2 fouls, switching to zone, and saving him, then going back and gambling, then taking him back out with about 1 minute left in the half. Very smart move by Mike Krzyzewski. Really helped his club hang in there.
83-76 Duke. Duke's looking for its second impressive early season tournament championship in as many years. Last year they won the Trojan Classic in Los Angeles, and they're looking to win another one in as many years.
With 2 pretty good teams.
Duck, coach, duck.
Tommy Amaker slapping it into press row here. That's the way I used to catch him on the break. Jody Sylvester said, nice hands.
That's why he's not coaching anymore. Here's Thompson with a jumper. Ferry with the lead for Amaker, a 2-on-1. Amaker by himself. That should seal it. A 10-point Duke lead with 40 seconds remaining in regulation. Kellogg over Ferry. Basket counts and the foul on Ferry.
Duke really jumps in, excellent at trying to draw the charge, drive officials crazy with this ability. Danny Ferry trying to set up early here. Kellogg with a good strong move. You can see the motion still. Good call.
And Ron Kellogg will go to the free throw line for a one-shot foul after making the goal. And the rebound to Allery. Quickly, Manning fouls Allery. 34 seconds remaining in regulation time.
Duke has a True Blue Award, which is for a guy who steps in and picks up the charges. As they check him in to an institution at the end of the season. We're playing in that ACC and trying to get those big bodies to bang into them.
86-78 Blue Devils in front, and Mark Allery to the line, 1-1. Allery with 19 points, 15 of those coming in this half.
Nice player.
16 points in this half.
And he had to play Greg Drailing at times too, and that's not his natural position, that center spot.
Allery with 6 rebounds all in this half. He's had a whale of a second half. Oh, what a night. A lot of players have played outstanding basketball tonight. 10-point Duke lead with 30 seconds remaining. Hunter gets it within 8, and Kansas calls for timeout. 26 seconds remaining in this inaugural Big Apple Classic. It appears to be colored blue. With Devils at the end, they lead by 8. Back at Madison Square Garden in New York, Howard David and Bill Raftery, along with Carl Churkin, Steve Grad, the Sports Bureau, and Larry Brown's team right now is down 8 points. It'll be Duke on the inbound, and the quick foul by Kellogg. Stops the clock with 24 seconds remaining.
Followed by Ron Kellogg.
Larry Brown.
There you see. Now, the reason why we're showing you Henderson is because he's been unbelievable. Let me tell you the things that he's done, Bill. I didn't mean to cut you off. He missed his first shot tonight in the first half, then made 6 in a row. Second half, he missed his first shot, and he made 6 in a row.
And of course, his opponent, Calvin Thompson, you had him for 16 in the first half. They've quieted him down. Duke's done a good job. He's only 8 points this half, if I'm not mistaken.
Calvin Thompson has cooled off, but how do you not cool off after the first half he had? Thompson had 16 points at halftime. He has 22 in the game. And Johnny Dawkins has put some more offense together in the second half. He now has 20 points. Same formula as Friday night against St. John's. Turgeon's jumper is off the mark. Hunter with the rebound puts it right back up and in. And a quick timeout called for by Kansas. 90-82 Duke with 19 seconds remaining in regulation time. Now when Duke gets into the ACC wars and Kansas in the Big 8 wars, they're going to remember this tournament in a positive sense, because Duke has had to scrap and claw their way right through this tournament. They had a tough game with St. John's on Friday night. They had a tough win in the opening game down in Houston against Lamar. They only won by 4. And, you know, they haven't had exactly a day at the beach against Kansas here tonight.
Not at all. I think you're looking at the 2 winners of their respective conferences. That's going out on the limb with Duke, I know, with Georgia Tech and Carolina down there. But, you know, when they get their people healthy, their defense, I think, is excellent. And that's key to winning. You know, you can score and it leaves you some evenings, but defense, you know, it's a constant. It's something you can rely on. But you got to think of Kansas inside defense really suspect in the second half, and that's not Larry Brown's type of team. Usually they take away the passing lanes, don't let you post up, so it let him down a little bit, and I'm sure that's going to be worked on.
Of course, Duke is playing without the services of Jay Billis, their starting center, out with a knee.
I got the baseline, sir.
They're not going to exactly, they won't exactly throw him away when he comes back into the lineup.
Now you watch for Kansas now, maybe trying to initiate the charge, pull the guy down.
Allery to trigger the inbound, and he gets it to Henderson. They burn off about 6 seconds worth of clock, 12 seconds remaining.
Going to give it a 2-shot, Howard.
It's an intentional foul on Manning. So David Henderson will go to the free throw line. Henderson with 28 points, 14 in each half. as he had a night.
Tough player, very good low post player, too.
Played for Mike Krzyzewski in the National Sports Festival on the gold medal winning South team. Oh, and it's going for you. It goes for you.
Teetered.
91-82 Duke. Henderson with 30 points, 3 assists and 3 steals to add to the collection. Might as well let Hunter go. Why foul him? Put it up and in. 92-84, the quick timeout by Larry Brown. Kansas now within 8, but I think it's too little too late. There's only 8 seconds remaining of the game.
Well, they called it, sent him right out. That's their last one.
Allery looking to trigger the inbound and does to Dawkins. Steal by Manning. And that's the last points of the game. Duke comes away with a 92-86 win over the Kansas Jayhawks. There's your winning coach, Mike Krzyzewski of Duke University. His team put on a whale of an exhibition of excellent basketball, and so did Kansas. It was 38-35 Duke at halftime. There is your final score. The Duke Blue Devils scoring 54 points in the second half to Kansas with 51 in the second half. A lot more offense in the second half, but it is Duke the winner of the inaugural Big Apple Classic. Final score, Duke 92, Kansas Jayhawks 86.